Hello, everybody on YouTube, NFL YouTube prognosticators, and NFL fans everywhere. This is Andrew Warren, back once again, giving you the top 5 Denver Broncos. Hey guys, this was another bet I made for a good follower of mine on YouTube, so my YouTube channel. But anyway, so it was a comment bet on this one. Which, if you're wondering about my internet bet with my good prognosticator Billy B. That's my next video on that one after I finish this top 10. So be on the lookout for that. I will get you posted on that as soon as I can, and we'll go from there. So anyways, and as of this bet right now, doing the top 10 Denver Broncos, I have to do a top 10 Denver Broncos of all time, and I got to give 3 shout-outs on this one. So the one of them I have to do, and the 2 ones are 2 other Denver Broncos fans. But the 2 other Denver Broncos fans I already gave shout-outs to, but I'm going to do it again anyways, because I can't find any other Denver Broncos fans out there. No offense, guys. If I can't find you, if I miss some of you Broncos fans and the NFL YouTube prognosticator fans, let me know. I do apologize for that. So go from there. But anyways, my 3 shout-outs on this one. One of them is not a YouTube prognosticator. I've been asking him to join for a little while. I'm not sure he's a member yet or not, so I'm not too sure. I gave him a couple of times, just to give him an opportunity for it, because he makes videos every now and then. But his name is USMC Sniper 123. Check his videos out anyway. He's a good guy. He's a cool video. He's a Broncos fan, and Billy B, like I mentioned earlier, still check out his videos anyway. So, but still be on the lookout for that internet bet I made for him. But still check out his videos too. He's a really good prognosticator. And check out his videos out from there. And, of course, the lovely Dante Calito, I believe that's her, pronounce her last name. She has her own show on YouTube called First Time with Dante. Check her out. It's a really nice show she has. Brings guests every now and then. So I know I gave those 2 a shout-out before, so I figured I'd do it again. So because they're both Broncos fans on that. So anyways, that's it. So check those 3 people out. They're pretty good. 2 of them are pretty good prognosticators. One, I'm trying to get them to join the NFL YouTube prognosticators. So check them out. They're really good. So, and to honor the Denver Broncos as part of my rivalries, doing a top 10 Denver Broncos of all time. So, anyways, start off with number 10, Rod Smith, wide receiver. Well, if you're wondering, one of the key members on the offensive side of the ball in the late 90s. Rod Smith is the guy. The wide receiver part, though. So, anyways, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler. He had was one of the Rings of Honor of the Denver Broncos. He was one of the key elements to help win those championships on the offensive side of the ball. So, if there was a guy that a quarterback needed to get to, which I'm not going to mention his name because you guys know who I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to save that until I get to the end. But anyways, if you want to know it. He was the wide receiver guy for him. So he was a good guy with the great hands too. He was a deep threat too, if people forget. So yeah, he had great hands. He broke a lot of Denver Broncos records. I don't think he's a Pro Football Hall of Fame yet. I don't know, but he is in the Broncos Ring of Honor. I think that's how they call it. I don't know if they call it the Broncos Hall of Fame or the Rings of Honor. So. But yeah, he's Rod Smith is definitely on the list though, so in that category and that. So he's a 3-time Pro Bowl. I think he's a 2-time All-Pro too. So in that case, but yeah, he was the wide receiver core on the main wide receiver in those 2 Super Bowl runs that they won. And number 9, Carl Mickenberg, I think. Carl Mickenberg, I think. He was a linebacker for them. This was a guy who was one of the toughest wide receivers in Broncos history. I believe so. I seen play his highlight reel. He looked pretty intense in my case scenario. But he started in the late 70s, I think, and went to the mid 80s or something like that. But he was the big defensive side of the ball for the Denver Broncos then at that point. So he was like. You could probably say he was the quarterback guy on the defensive side of the ball. He was their big key guy, though, on that, though. But they just couldn't hold up on those championship runs in the 80s they couldn't do, but at that point. But I don't know if he was part of the Orange Crush defense or not, but Which I'll get to the Orange Crush defense in a bit. I have a member on there too, so. But I think he was part of it, though. But, like, the ending part of it. But, he was a 6-time Pro Bowler. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, though. But if you're a 6-time Pro Bowler or more, I think that's a good enough for a Hall of Fame for me. So I don't care if they have championships or not. If they got records and you got Pro Bowl stats, Pro Bowler things and All Pros, that's good enough for me. I don't care if they have no rings or not. If you're really good, that's fine. You don't really need a championship to get into the Hall of Fame. But anyways, that's a different topic and a different time, so I'm not going to go with that. But anyways, though, but he is a 6-time Pro Bowler. I mean, if he's on the Hall of Fame, he should be in the Hall of Fame. But I believe he's in the Broncos Ring of Honor, so I'll give him that. So, but he is one of the big toughest linebackers in the Orange Crush defense, I think. So, if you needed a guy who one of the big linebackers on the Orange Crush defense, he was one of their guys on that. And speaking of the Orange Crush, number 8, Tom Jackson. Yes, I know what you're thinking. He's an ESPN analyst. What are you thinking on that one? Well, people often forget he was a linebacker too. He was part of the Orange Crush defense too at that point. So I believe he's lasted the same amount as Carl Mecklenburg, I think. I believe he was part of that, but around that time frame. But he was part of that. Tom Jackson was part of that linebacker corps too with the Orange Crush defense. But people often forget he was a player first before he became an ESPN analyst. Though at that point, people often forget about that. But hey, you might look at him as an ESPN analyst now, but look at him as a player though. Even though he's a 3-time Pro Bowler, but he was good at his position though. But he was a really good linebacker too at that point. But some players mostly feared him at that point though. But I think he was part of their first Super Bowl run for Super Bowl 12 against the Dallas Cowboys with Craig Morton as their quarterback then. But Craig Morton's not on the list. That's why I'm mentioning him on that. I don't know if I would even put him in honorable mentions, but I mean, anyways, at that point though, Tom Jackson was the other big part of the defense too. The only problem with them, they couldn't go with the time where they mattered the most in the Super Bowl at that point. But that Orange Crush defense with Tom Jackson was a big one of the big things, the reason why they went to the Super Bowl in the first place. So, and I'll leave you with that one. And number 9, Gary Zimmerman, offensive line, excuse me. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler, and he was one of the big protection guys. But I think he was part of the 80s, I think. I could have been wrong. It could have been the mid-90s, too, but I don't know. I forget where he was. I remember seeing him protect the quarterback a bunch of times. He was good. Really good at that, though. He was good at what he did. But, other than that, though, but, if you were casting a movie and needed an offensive lineman, it would have been him. He was big, tough. Most of the offensive linemen are like that, but this was like nothing you haven't seen before. So, if, I believe he's in the Hall of Fame, I think, the last time I checked. But, but I know he's a 6-time Pro Bowler. I think he's a 4-time All-Pro, I think, on that one. So, I don't know. Someone correct me on that. I could be wrong, but, it is what it is on that one. But if you're a kid, he's one of those big tough guys. I don't know what he's doing now, but I think he's still with the Broncos organization, working in the front office or something. I think that's what I heard the last time. But anyways, he lands on number 6 in my list because he was a big offensive lineman. And plus, I got to tell you this, offensive lineman needs a lot more credibility to do what they do because they protect the quarterback. And he was one of those people who was really good at that. So that's why I landed him at number 6. I think some NFL fans include him. I do once in a while, but I got to check offensive linemen once in a while. They were the ones who protect the quarterback a lot. So, and he's one of those people who was really good at that. Nobody would get in his way. He would always that big protection line. You're not getting in my way. You're not getting in my way. He was one of those guys. You don't want to get in his way at that point. And he never really gave up a lot of sacks in his career, though. So you got to give him credit for that, and that's why he should be in the Hall of Fame in my book. I believe he's in the Hall of Fame. So next is number 6, Floyd Little, running back. Now you're all thinking this, except for Broncos fans. You're thinking, who? Well, this guy was a running back before I get to my top five in a bit. So, anyways, he was not one of the best linebackers during the AFL years. He was one of the best running backs at that point. He came a 3-time All-Star, I think, or maybe 2 from the AFL. Then all of a sudden he went a 2-time Pro Bowl when the 1970 merger came along. So altogether he was a 5-time Pro Bowler or something like that altogether. And I believe he's in the Hall of Fame, but because of the AFL years he did, because most of his great successes in the AFL years. Consider in the mid-70s he started to slow down a little bit. But anyways. But all those records he did, the Broncos records, it was good enough for a Hall of Fame career. So, I think he's a 5 or 6-time Pro Bowler, including the 3 of them in the AFL years and the AFL All-Stars too, at that point. But anyways, the thing is, he was a running back. He was their franchise player in the 60s when the Denver Broncos and then the AFL was around that era. He was one of their biggest running backs the AFL ever had at that point. And if the AFL need to have a best the player they needed to compete with the NFL, it would have been him. So you gotta give him credit for that. But anyways, that will wrap up the first 5. I will give you the rest of the top 5 in a bit, and until then, I'll see you when I get back.